Hi there, my name is Graham Codrington and I'm an expert on the future of work. I work with companies and organizations all around the world, helping them to understand the technologies and the forces that are shaping the world around us. I have a particular passion for working with schools and teachers because they are preparing the next generation of people who will work in those workplaces. And I really want to help them to understand the future and the future workplace and the technologies that are shaping it now. Of course, one of the big technologies is artificial intelligence. That's what we call it, AI. I don't really think it is AI. I'll explain that in a moment. But what I think it can be is IA. And what I mean by that is it can be intelligent assistance. I'll come back to this other thought just a little bit later. A number of weeks ago, and over the last few weeks, in fact, I've spent some time speaking to groups of principals, educators, and school communities. And I thought that a short video which just introduces what these large language models are, that's the best way to describe them, what they are and how you can use them. I hope this video will be useful. You're welcome to show this to your staff, show this to your parents, use it in any way that would be useful to you. And if you're not in a school community, you might still be interested in this as a parent of a child, or just in someone who wants to understand a little bit more about what these large language models are and what they do. I'm going to talk about ChatGPT, but there are other options available, Claude, Llama, Bard, and others. But let's talk about ChatGPT. The reason I say it's not artificial intelligence is because essentially it's not a database, it's an engine. If you picture it as a car, what we've done is we've built an engine that can drive the car's wheels, that can take the car somewhere. And what this is trying to do, it's not trying to answer your questions, it's trying to give you an answer that it thinks sounds clever. Now that's two different things. It's not really worth using it for research if the research you're doing fits into three categories. First of all, if the research is about something that's quite up to date. This engine was built in September 2021, doesn't know anything after that. Secondly, it can't make judgments. It doesn't think, it's not making decisions, it's just looking for information from before September 2021 and sharing that with you. And then the third thing is that we shouldn't use it as a copy and paste because it's fairly obvious if somebody has just copied what ChatGPT has said. It should be used to help us, to guide us, to be a tool that we can use as school leaders, as teachers, and in my opinion, as students as well. So let me show you how it can be used. This is all part of the work that our team does called Future Smart Teacher. And if you go to futuresmartteacher.com, you'll see a whole lot of additional resources that our team has got for you. But let's have a look at ChatGPT. And I have opened up a new ChatGPT box over here, and I'm going to go in and ask it to do a few things for me. Just over here you'll see the free version at the moment is called GPT 3.5. I'm using the Pro version. I do pay for it, which gives it slightly better responses and is a little bit faster, but you'll be able to use this no matter which version you use. By the way, I also wouldn't use any of the apps that are available for this. I would go into a browser and go to chat.openai.com. That's the best place to go if you are wanting to use ChatGPT in the way that I'm going to show you now. So I've captured a few prompts before we've started. And for those of you who might have used ChatGPT before, let me explain what I'm doing here while I get it working. So ChatGPT works best when it knows who you are and why you are asking the questions that you are asking. So if you just ask a question, and here I'm about to ask it to help me to develop a lesson plan. But if you just say, help me to develop a lesson plan, you'll get a very boring one, to be honest, not a really good one. If, however, you give some information, let me show you what I said. You, as in ChatGPT, are a fun and engaging grade 8 teacher in South Africa following the CAPS curriculum. I work at a public school. I'm changing from you to I, it doesn't really matter. I work at a public school in the Cape Town suburbs with children from a wide spectrum of backgrounds. As the teacher, I like to add to the formal curriculum with insights into civics and social justice and other issues. I need you to help me to develop some lesson plans and give me some ideas. Okay, it's gone ahead and given me just some examples of lesson plans and how to improve my teaching. That's not actually what I wanted it to do. I was just giving it some information. Anyway, it's gone ahead of me and given me some ideas, which I think if a teacher read through them, they'd find useful. But here's what I really wanted it to do. I just gave it that information, and now if we stay in the same conversation, it now knows this information about me. So now I'm going to ask it to create a 5-lesson plan for my students on basic financial literacy. Each lesson should begin with a hook to get the students interested and end with a fun way to assess their learning. Now I'm doing this in real time. This is not pre-recorded. I'm doing this live, as you can see it. So now it's giving me here, lesson 1, understanding money. There's a little bit of hook, a hook there, bring in the different notes and coins. That makes a lot of sense. Now here's the lesson plan. There's the objective, there's the content, and the assessment is going to be a money hunt. Hiding money around the room. That should be fun. I'm sure you won't get it all back. You need to make sure that they understand that it is there for them. I'm just going to let this run in the background, but you'll see I asked it for 5 lessons, and here it goes. Each one of them's got exactly what I asked for: a hook, then the lesson plan outline, this is a high-level lesson plan outline. I'll show you in a second how we can drill in a little bit deeper and flesh each of those lesson plans out. For me, when you think about what's going on behind me over here, this is really helping a teacher who might be under-resourced, might be stressed for time, to really just raise their game. And for me, this is what I think artificial intelligence, or AI, in a generative AI form, is going to do. It's not going to replace teachers, but it's going to help teachers to raise their game. AI is not going to do the teaching here. A good teacher still has to take this outline and turn it into something useful. But having said that, let me show you then what we can do here. I'm going to say take that lesson 1. So it's given me 5 lessons. I'm just going to look at lesson 1. But now create the lesson for a 35-minute session and also add 3 multiple choice questions. So in other words, I'm asking it now, okay, I like this as an outline, but now give me the detail. Remember that hook of bringing in a mix of coins, and now it's going to say, right, let's have a discussion. 10 minutes, let's talk about what are the origins of money, what's the barter system, introducing the coins, looking at modern money. Then look at different forms of money. Then there's an activity for sorting different money. There's a recap at the end where I summarize. There's a little bit of feedback and homework that I can give them. This system knows how to deal with schools. Let's just reduce the size of the screen just a touch there so you can see more of that. And then there are the multiple choice questions that it suggests. And just in case I couldn't work it out myself as a teacher, it tells me what the correct answers are. Nice one. They're all C's, which is an unusual pattern for multiple choice. Right, there we go. Now, let me just go a step further for you here and say, please include a variety of project ideas for this lesson plan, taking into consideration various learning styles. you've realized you've got different styles of learning. And I'm going to add something here. Give me these results in a table format. So you can even give instructions to ChatGPT about the format in which you want things, with columns for the idea, the learning style, the activities, and links. Let's see what it can do for us here. So I've asked it to put itself into a table format, so it's just making sure it's just thinking a little bit like what it needs to do. Now you've got some ideas. So for the visual learners, we can do a money collage, and there's the activity, and it's giving me a link. Now, just while this is working, let me just show you here what this link is. So this link is to, I'm just going to open a separate tab. This is to a website called banknotes.com, which has got, looks like, banknotes of the world. So it's giving me a resource where I can go and now copy and paste different banknotes from all around the world. Fantastic. So there's another link there to the history of money. There's a BBC website. Maybe it's got a video on the history of money. So that's a podcast. There's a coin rubbing art for the kinesthetic learners. There's a money journal for the intrapersonal learners. Good grief. How amazing is this? Now, what I want to just add to this is say, give me a brief history of money in 100 words. Now, again, I am giving a detail about exactly what I mean by brief. It's 100 words. And here it is giving me that brief history. I can now copy and paste this into my notes and use this. But I'm also going to say, please give me that summary in Afrikaans. In South Africa, we speak 11 official languages, and in actual fact, ChatGPT can speak all 11 of them. I believe ChatGPT speaks 90 plus languages. We could ask ChatGPT a little bit later. So there's the Afrikaans. If you speak Afrikaans or Dutch or Belgisch, maybe you can read that and see if you think it's a good version of it. And I'm just waiting for it to finish, and then you can see what I'm going to do. This is where chat comes into ChatGPT. I'm just going to say, and in Zulu. In other words, I can begin to speak to it as if it was an intelligent assistant for me. And again, if you speak Zulu, you might want to have a look at that and see whether you think that that is a good version. I've been told that it is sort of 80 to 90% really good in most languages other than English. So I hope that that's reasonably good. Zulu, remembering that the Zulu is aimed at a grade 8. That's about a 12 or 13-year-old learner, so it might be quite simplistic Zulu aimed at a learner. Not bad, not bad. So I've just taken you through a whole lot of steps, and we took what? Less than 10 minutes to come up with a beautiful lesson plan translated into different languages. Now, if you are a school leader, not just a teacher, there might be other things you want to do. So, for example, let's say that we got an email which said, "Dear Mr. Codrington, I'm concerned about my son John, who's in grade 8. He seems to spend hours every day doing homework, doesn't have time to go out and play with his friends. He is anxious about his schoolwork. I'm worried that he's overwhelmed, not getting enough support from your teaching staff." This is from Mrs. Dlamini. Now, what I've asked ChatGPT to do is please write a response email to this parent who wrote this email, doesn't matter, this email below. Use a polite but informal tone. In other words, that's my style. So let's see what it can do. Dear Mrs. Dlamini, thank you so much for reaching out with your concerns about John. I completely understand your worries. I'll definitely chat to John and his teachers to get a clearer picture of what's happened. We want to ensure that while he's learning, he gets all the opportunities to be a kid. There's the informal tone, and enjoy some downtime. Please know that we're here to support John in every way we can. Isn't that wonderful? That's probably what you wanted to say. That's probably how you would have liked to say it. But all you needed to do was to go and say, please will you write a response email for me and tell it what tone to use. It's got a lot of information about who you are and the type of responses you like. And again, I wouldn't just copy and paste this now. I would copy, paste it, and then use my own words to do it. But isn't that a fantastic productivity tool to help you save some time? Now, let's say you've thought about this and you suddenly realize, well, I would like to write a newsletter article for all the parents, put it into the school's weekly newsletter about this issue of the year-end exams are coming up and kids are stressed, and just help the parents. And here, again, I'm giving it a little bit more information, use an informal tone with some humor and some references to the Rugby World Cup. As I record this, the Rugby World Cup is on. So off we go, and let's see this time what ChatGPT will actually do for us. So there we go. Parents, the Rugby World Cup has shown us some incredible tackles and tries, but did you know that our kids are facing their own World Cup, the Year-End Exams Championship? Okay, so maybe a little bit too much in terms of its references to the Rugby World Cup. Let's scrum together to ensure they don't drop the ball. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, please do that again. I always say please, you don't really have to, but I suppose it's just manners. Please do that again without, let's get my spelling right here, without rugby references, but also add a bulleted list of ideas for helping children to relax while they are studying. So can you see what I'm doing? I am speaking back. It's almost as if I've got an assistant where I said, okay, that was a nice first draft, but you know what? The rugby references were a little bit too much, so let's take those out. And you know what? Can you just put in some additional information about relaxing, put it in the form of a bulleted list. Hey, it's even putting in some nice emojis for me, which is quite nice. And there you have a 150 word long newsletter article. Isn't that an amazing productivity tool that we can use? One final thing to show you, and then I'll leave the rest for you. Let's say I have a staff of about 50 people. I need an icebreaker activity for the start of term team meeting that will energize my staff and help them to get to know each other. Got a few new people. Please give me some ideas of a few activities that will take about 20 minutes each. And so off it goes, and it gives me some suggestions for staff meetings, 2 truths and a lie. That's a fun one. People think of 2 things that are true and 1 that's false about themselves. They share it and everybody else tries to guess which is true and which is false. Human bingo, steam, speed networking, string theory. These are all fairly standard ice-breaking ideas, but that is the point of ChatGPT. Remember when I said it's not AI yet? It will be AI in the future, but right now what it is, it's an intelligent assistant. It is an intelligent assistant that can go to this massive engine that can search the entire internet and all of human knowledge up to September 2021. And then if the information that you are looking for you would expect that information to be available. That information doesn't require expert knowledge or judgment calls. It doesn't require professional insight or explanation. Like, give me a lesson plan for financial management. You would expect there to be thousands of those available. Help me with some icebreakers. You would expect there to be thousands, millions maybe of those available. Help me write a newsletter. Easy. There's very little judgment there, and that is what ChatGPT is useful for. It becomes then what I call X plus AI. I don't think AI is going to replace us because it is limited in what it can do. The things it can do, it does absolutely brilliantly, and it is the most remarkable productivity tool. But it won't replace human beings. But human beings who use AI will replace human beings who don't. That's what I mean by X plus AI. What I think is going to happen in schools and homes and, well, in your offices as well, is that people who use AI are going to see a dramatic improvement in their productivity. They're going to raise the game of their ability to communicate their thoughts. They're going to obviously be able to correct grammar and spelling. You can imagine how easy it is for AI to do that for you. Take a letter that you've written, put it into AI, put it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, please improve this for me. Please correct the spelling and grammar. Please translate it into another language. And so the people who use AI will increase their skill level, and they will be able to do the things that the humans do much better than the humans who don't use AI. So teachers, I hope that this has been useful for you. Please go to futuresmartteacher.com and have a look at our resources. And if you're watching this video, we've created a special page for you, futuresmartteacher.com/SAPA, where you will be able to not just get some resources, but also access a very special offer that we have for your school, where for hopefully a small amount of money each month that is easily accessible in your school budget, our team at Future Smart Teacher, backed up by the team at Tomorrow Today Global, we will provide you with monthly resources that will do an amazing job of raising your teacher's game. We'll give you access to all of our webinars and our training resources for all of your teachers. And each month we'll add new resources, new training, and we'll answer all of your questions as they come up. All for a small monthly fee, regardless of the size of your staff. We hope that you take advantage of this wonderful offer. It's our gift to you as educators who hold the future in your hand. These large language models are not AI yet, but they are the most powerful tools we have created in recent years, and they can become your intelligent assistants. We'll help you to do that.